and right.
Yes. Me and my team stand for the motion proposed in the House and as I'm the lead speaker of the proposition team, so I would like to start with the very first thing to explain the term and define the highlight word. First highlight word of the topic is single sex school. Single sex school, also known as single gender school or gender isolated school, is a practice of conducting girls and boys in a separate classes, perhaps in separate buildings or separate schools. Second highlight word of the topic is co-educational school. Co-educational school, also known as mixed gender school, is a system of practicing education with girls and boys studying together in a class or perhaps in a school. So the debate is single-sex schools are better than co-educational school, and me and my team are for the motion and would be putting forward some points and argument to prove that single-sex schools are better than co-educational schools. Firstly, I would like to talk about a very important and the most valuable point in this debate, and that is early relationship.
We shall now hear the lead speaker of opposition speech. Lead speaker, opposition.
Good morning to you all present here. Today, me and my mates are going to oppose the motion, and we are going to prove that. Wait a second, it's nothing to prove that co-educational schools are better than single-sex schools. So here I go. Co-educational institution, co-education, a system of educating boys and girls together. In ancient times, co-education existed in Sparta in Greece. There was no discrimination between boys and girls. They studied and played together. Along with academic education, physical training was also given to the both sexes. Plato, the Greek philosopher, believed that development of a man or a woman and created a feeling of comradeship among them. The importance of co-education has been felt since ancient times. In early Vedic society, co-education was not so prevalent. The boys stayed in gurukuls for the whole educational period. There they received both academic education and physical training. The former included the study of scriptures and the latter training in warfare. Girls were not sent to the gurukuls and thus were deprived of the benefits of the education. Modern psychology and common sense propagate that boys and girls need to be educated together as equals, and that co-educational schools are important because they teach boys and girls how to get along with each other. Co-education helps boys and girls intermingle and understand each other well. The students at co-educational schools become more broad-minded and tolerant toward the opposite gender. They interact freely with one another and thereby overcome hesitation and shyness. The schools are the preparation grounds for adult life. When boys and girls are taught under separate roofs, they wrongly conclude that one gender is better than other gender. And as a result, they may not feel comfortable when they pass out their co-education, single-sex schools and step into higher education institutions, which are usually co-educational. Forbes, an eminent world magazine, also says that when the students are segregated on the basis of sex, they miss opportunities to work together, and develop vital social skills. These skills play an important role in our career or professional life. The students from co-educational schools tend to dictate the world's relationship formed in the corporate world. Co-educational schools promote a culture of equality and contribute to the balanced development of personality. The boys and girls can communicate effectively, and they benefit from having a richer range experience from those who go to single-sex schools.
Thank you for your remarks. Do you have any questions? Your position?
Yes.
Read up.
What basically you are trying to say is that in single-sex school, that the boys and girls are not treated equally. I don't think your statement is true, because I believe that in single-sex school, they are treated equally. Like in a single-sex school, for boys, they have their own, and for girls, they have their own. So they would be treated equally in their own schools.
I would like to say that, let me take an example. When the students, as we are teaching them on the different shifts, like the first shift, the second shift, and they are getting the different teachers, they are not intermixing with each other, then we can conclude that as they are not treated as equals, because when the boys and girls are taught together, there are different talks for boys and there are different talks for girls. So when they are taught together, they can intermix in one another, and they can
30
know
seconds
about
left.
the other gender. They can know about the other gender. So if they are taught in that single sex schools, I that conclude that they are not treated as equals, because they don't get that type of education, or that type of teaching aids which are given to the opposite. Thank you.
Follow up.
The follow-up will be counted as a second question.
Okay. Like you said that they are teach a lot, like if they are in single sex school, they are teach something else. I don't think the schools are getting another syllabus. We are there to teach, the teachers are there to just to teach the syllabus what is prescribed by the nation's guidelines. I don't think we are going to get socialized in the school. We are just going to get learned. I'm not saying that we don't have to get socialized, but we can get socialized afterwards. But the main focus at that time in school is that we have to study.
My friend, as you're talking about the literate people, they are educated by books, but the education takes place out of the book, and it's far apart from the book. Here, the education means that boys talk and girls talk, and here the talk doesn't mean to just having a conversation on a gossip between two same gender, and the talk means that to know about each other, to know the emotions of one another. So by that talks that we can conclude that they both are learning the physical changes and that emotional
30
changes
seconds left.
taking place in one another, and the education takes place from outside the book. So here I don't like to say that the syllabus is same, or that their teachers are teaching them same. I would just like to say that education doesn't mean to just grab a book and teach someone. It is far away from that books. Thank you.
Thank you. I now call upon the second proposition speaker to come out with his argument in support of the resolution.
Each child comes to school with a dream. Do we help them to realize it or destroy it? Good evening to the August gathering present here. I, Tanish Jhunjhunwala, the second speaker of the proposition, would continue the motion forward. The opposition speaker stated that boys and girls intermingle and understand.
Thank you. I now call upon the second proposition speaker to come out with his argument in support of the resolution.
Each child comes to school with a dream. Do we help them to realize it or destroy it? Good evening to the August gathering present here. I, Tanish Jhunjhunwala, the second speaker of the proposition, would continue the motion forward. The opposition speaker stated that boys and girls intermingle and understand each other well in co-ed school. But the bitter truth is that the students get involved in unwanted arguments and issues which creates an unhealthy environment. Both the genders come from different schools of thought, and hence contradiction of thought is common among boys and girls. If these arguments are not handled in a proper behavior, then it can sometimes lead to unwanted issues and might divert the students from their studies. It can lead to a lot of complaints and parents making the rounds of the school for the improper behavior from the kin. This will also make the teacher get troubled a lot, and an irritated teacher can never give the 100% towards teaching. This is what worries any parent when they come to know that the issues in the school are costing his or her child's studies, and hence pushing them to select a convent rather than co-educational institution.
Thank you. If students go to mixed gendered or co-educational schools, it leads to a healthy and harmonious relationship between boys and girls. Studying together generates a mutual respect between boys and girls. We see each other as human beings rather than a simple girl or a boy. A study has revealed that co-educational schools are better because the presence of the girls in the classes restrain boys from indulging into unruly behavior. We are in a boys' school, and we all know how much fun we have there because we do not have to think for the presence of the girl. Had there been girls, would we behave the same? No. The presence of the girls also lowers the amount of classroom disruption and fosters a better and healthier relationship between students and their teachers. And when it comes to competing with one another in the field of academics, one realizes that boys and girls are almost the same in the terms of potential and capability. They both have the same brain power. My dear friends, you will be surprised to know that a study has revealed that the presence of girls improves the overall academic performances of the students. Friends, I am not saying this. This fact is supported by data. The researchers noted that classes with more than 55% of girls resulted in better examination results and less violent outbursts overall. When boys and girls study together, they get a chance to learn about each other better. They start respecting each other in the early stages of their life. Also, they are also, what do I say? What could I say about this? Also, they are not curious about the other sex. So they do not behave foolishly or feel awkward in the presence of girls. Then they grow up and are required to work together. Let me give you an example. Girls are usually considered better at needlework, cooking, stitching, and so on, whereas boys are usually better at electrical gadgets and outdoor activities.
30
In
seconds
educational
left.
schools, the boys and girls have to work together on all these activities. While working on these activities together, they learn from each other and in fact help each other to become better at these skills. And the results are everywhere around us. We see chefs like Vikas Khanna and Sanjeev Kapoor, who are known globally for the culinary skills. Similarly, we have Rohit Bal, Raghavendra Rathore, and Manish Malhotra, who dominate the fashion industry. On the other hand, we have examples of PV Sandhu, Saina Mirza, Mithali Raj. I'm not saying this
Time
that they
over.
pick up the skills in schools, but they did not shy away from the fields dominated by other genders. They may have picked up the passion due to presence of some influential personalities around. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any questions, opposition?
Yes.
Yes.
Tanis, speak.
Yes,
Please
thank
start.
you.
Go
Among
ahead.
you
Go ahead.
stated, Among you stated that boys and girls get to know each other and interact freely in co-ed school, which we can call socializing. So was the primary purpose of school was education or socializing?
First of all, we are talking about, yeah, I know, we are talking about the education, but they all go in the same category when we also talk with each other. When we grow up, we have to coordinate with other genders, right? So it helps us build a better relationship with other genders.
Can I have a follow-up?
Or will be counted a second question?
Ujjwal, may I?
Yeah.
You say that boys and girls need to talk with each other in the school, but day schools get over at 1 p.m. Don't the students have more than 10 hours of the day to interact with opposite sex rather than in school? They can interact with the opposite gender in the society or in the tuition classes.
It is not necessary that everyone has a whole day free on their hands. They have to work. They have some works. They have to do something. In the school, they are actually around each other. They can interact freely. There is no stoppage in between.
Thank you. Now I call upon the third speaker of the proposition to extend the arguments in favor of the resolution.
Good afternoon, respected principal, judges, and members of opposition team. I am Nimesh Khandelwal from proposition team. It is said that there is a right age for doing everything in life. You must be wondering why I have quoted this at the start of my speech. Hold on, I'll come back to it. Now, let me take you back to the times of Ramayana and Mahabharata. You must be aware that at that time also a single gender education system was followed by Gurukuls. The students used to shave their head and wear same clothes that develops a sense of equality and unity amongst them. Even our Shastra, Vedas, and Purans refer to a single gender education system. Now, I would like to add some more points to my argument. Connecting back to the quote previously said, a biological and obvious phenomena that happens in co-educational school is the attraction between the opposite sexes. This leads to love affairs, crushes, relationships, and etc. Do you think this is the right age for this? I don't think so. At such an early age of life, where you aren't enough mature to take your own decisions, you are not able to make your own decisions. Then willingly and unwillingly this happens that you are attracted towards an opposite sex. And this is the biggest disadvantage of co-educational schools. These relationships, crush, and affairs deteriorate your performance and you're not able to help further. As you are in your teenage years, your behavior, your studies, all of these gets ruined by such things. And this leads to a total chaos in and around your life. The time which could be utilized for self-development and skill enhancement goes for a toss by indulging in such activities. And lastly, one minute point that I would like to say is in single gender schools, students are often more willing to take risk because they don't feel the fear of failing in front of the same gender. In a survey, it has been proved that single gender school graduates even rated themselves with high level of intellectual self-confidence and a resource crucial for college and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any questions, opposition team?
Yes.
You may continue.
My question is still the same. He was saying that we are attracted to the opposite gender, so that's why we are getting distracted by the studies. I'm just saying that how can we just conclude or how can we just confirm that a person is only attracted to its opposite gender? Why not it can be attracted to its own gender, or why cannot be he attracted to any transgender?
They are biological. This is a biological and obvious phenomena. You must have studied in your science, in your textbooks, that the attraction happens between the opposite sexes. Yes, it can be happen in the same sex or transgender, but mostly we have seen the attraction between the opposite sexes. And this at such an early age where he is not mature, he cannot make his own decisions. This can ruin his studies, can change his behavior, and total chaos happens in his life. Thank you.
Any other questions, opposition?
Yes.
You may continue.
As you said, but here Amitabh Bachchan, Menka Gandhi, and Captain Amrinder Singh, they all come from the co-ed schools. What do you have to say about them?
Okay, so okay, so many of the popular personalities which we see in our daily life, which are very famous, can be in a co-education graduate, school graduate, but single gender graduates have proved them with high self-confidence, and that is very crucial for the college and beyond. Thank you.
Now it's the turn of the third speaker of the opposition to extend the argument in opposition of the resolution.
Thank you. As the second speaker of the proposition said that the boys and girls could come to an argument, but a study says boys.
Thank you. Now I call upon the third speaker of the proposition to extend the arguments in favor of the resolution.
Good afternoon, respected principal, judges, and members of opposition team. I am Animesh Khandelwal from proposition team. It is said that there is a right age for doing everything in life. You must be wondering why I have quoted this at the start of my speech. Hold on, I'll come back to it. Now, let me take you back to the times of Ramayana and Mahabharata. You must be aware that at that time also a single gender education system was followed by Gurukuls. The students used to shave their head and wear same clothes that develops a sense of equality and unity amongst them. Even our Shastra, Vedas, and Purans refer to a single gender education system.
Now it's the turn of the third speaker of the opposition to extend the argument in opposition of the resolution.
Thank you. As the second speaker of the proposition said, that the boys and girls could come to an argument, but a study says boys become conscious of the dressing habits, behavior, and the style of communication in the company of girls. They behave well, talk in a decent language. Similarly, girls overcome their shyness, behave well with the boys, and understand them better. It lays down the foundation of a better life. We strongly believe that co-education should be promoted right from the kindergarten so that the children grow up with the right attitude towards each other.
Now, I would call upon our first judge, Mr. Dinesh Chandra, to speak a few words.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. First of all, I thank Jaskaran sir for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this wonderful event. Though I've administered many debates in the army, but that was in the Cambridge format. And the way it has been conducted today, I would like to say that this is much easier and much, efficient way to learn.
Now I call upon our second judge, Mr. Himanshu Kumar, to say a few words.
Now, from my side, the children have done an excellent job of debating with each other. They have picked up various, information regarding the issue. They have collected data from one place or the other. Sir was very right. Dinesh sir was very right when he told that for the past 1 or 2 days they must have been very busy in collecting these data, providing information to each other in order to contradict each other and just to put forth their own ideas. So they have presented their thoughts very well.
Our third judge, Mr. Ravikant, sir, to say a few words.
Thank you very much. First of all, the boys deserve pat on their back because under this situation, it's a pandemic going on when the students are not able to, connect to their classes, and you have presented your show in such a wonderful way. I would like to take some boys' name here, like Jaskaran sir was saying that Ujjwal Raj was having fever. I remember the day when he was admitted in class 4 here in BPS. He joined in class 4 here, and then from class 4 to class 10, there's a lots of improvement in his, personality and his speaking. And all the credit goes to the child as well as the teachers who have trained him. So hats off, Ujjwal. I was very happy to see you the way you are speaking. And the second speaker, both the lead speakers, Pratham Chaudhary, he joined in class 6 here in BPS. So from junior, he went to middle section. I was in class 10th, and the way you are speaking, Pratham, I was, fantastic. I was happy to see you. So taking these two names because they were from junior section, and rest of the students as well, you also did not leave any stone unturned, proving yourself to be a good debater.
Thank you, sir. Now, we have with us Mrs. Itude, who has attended many BPS online debates as a judge. Today, she is present with us as a parent. They, madam, has been working in the learning and development industry for the last 15 years. A seasoned instructional designer and a published author, she creates and designs training materials for various target audience spread across the globe. I will request her to say a few words.
Thank you everybody, and thank you especially Jaskaran sir for allowing me to be a guest only for this particular topic, at least because this topic is very close to my heart. And yes, I have thoroughly enjoyed the arguments today. So hats off to each and every person who have tried to convince each other with so much of thought into it. I know that there were certain tricky situations also which some of them missed and some of them were answered. So congratulations everybody. It was a job very well done, very well executed by each of the participants, and thank you judges for taking that pain.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, I will invite our Honorable Principal Sir to enlighten us.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Jaskaran, the members of the jury, the parent whom I have been meeting on this debate platform, the participating students. A very relevant topic which has been given, especially for the boarding school boys, boarding school, all boys boarding school. And yeah, I'm going to give my personal, opinion about this particular topic. There were divisions in the society, and that is how you have seen either the single-sex schools have, grown up. Whenever the single-sex schools have grown up, that is actually, these schools are very old schools, first of all. Whether you take the example of Doon, take the example of BPS, take the example of Vidyapith, take the example of Mayo College, these are all single-sex school, or even whatever, Scindia school boys, Scindia girls, and many such schools. They're actually very old schools. In the sense, they actually single-sex school is the thought which is not very contemporary.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. A very special thanks to Principal Sir for sparing his time, and he has been with us throughout the debate. And a very special thanks to Mrs. Ree today. She really enjoys being with us, with the students, and she gives good tips to the boys also. And thanks to judges and participants, as Mr. Mishra was saying, you deserve a pat on your back. No doubt, you really put up a good show. And Ujjwal, see, he was, I told you, under the weather. Last night he had the temperature, but when I told him that I have already informed the principal, sir, then he insisted that us go on with it. Actually, I was at the verge of postponing this debate, but then he again made a phone call. I would manage. If you have already scheduled it, let's not cancel it. He has shown me another very positive, trait of his personality, right? Didn't give up. I was really very happy. Okay. Okay, well, again, thank you, everyone.